Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And if you self identify with that in chat, I was not calling you out. Good morning.
Oh, we're going to start with the pronouns already?
No, we're just talking about the ho, ho, ho's. This one is the one that woke me up about an hour and a half ago. And now look. Is Santa coming? It's probably too cold down here for him. Yeah. We are Friday morning negative wind chills in Alabama. That's going to suck.
Get over it. What is it going to last? One day?
Thursday night, Friday morning. We heat up into
Good by Sunday.
Lows of the teens for the Saturday and Sunday, and then it goes away.
I think it was 65 here yesterday.
It's some sort of cold front coming all the way down from Siberia.
It's a dry heat. It's a dry heat here. Don't worry about it.
It's a dry cold too. So
you tell me how hard it is to be you. Yeah, that's what I think about today.
Yeah, I will be traveling to North Carolina on Thursday, which is the good day to travel. Friday it'll be cold.
There's no good day. In that season, there's no good day to travel. Who are we kidding?
Oh, come on. I live in Ohio. And not only do I live in Ohio, I live in a part of Ohio where we get lake effect snow and shit like that. So.
All right, let's all say it at one time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Dumbass. Okay. We got that out of the way.
It's not my choice.
Yeah, I gotta find you somewhere to lay down. Let me go get your bed. Y'all carry on. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Calling for, thank God I'll be gone. But they're calling for up to
So should we work demonetize in? We're 1 minute in. Let's get it going.
No.
Yeah, where'd you say you were from? I'll get it going. Don't worry.
Seattle. Go ahead, old man.
I can wind it up real quick. That's what they keep me around for.
All right. So in case you're wondering, the spoiled puppy, he's not even going to stay in his bed. Yeah, I've been under the weather the last couple of days, so if I lack my usual excitement and drama, y'all just have to. Not been a lot of fun. So is everybody now going to rest today, or you come to the end of the Christmas selling season? There'll still be a lot of stuff that sells, but not with the same volume.
My sales are
everything on vacation mode.
My sales are starting to pick up.
And see, that's what I say.
Down drastically.
Oh yeah, mine dropped off. But Steve, I mean, you're one of a few that people do go on vacation mode, and for me, traditionally, this is my time to shine. Between Christmas and New Year's, I keep working, and my sales are continuing to get higher.
If we weren't traveling, I'd keep working. Trust me.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, that's the one thing I've tried to every year we come to this. I try to remind people that with the just gift cards being everywhere and everything available on Christmas and all that kind of stuff, people are going to make returns and buy other things. And so really, even for the next 2 weeks, it's still pretty solid sales. But the difference is are you in inventory? Because most people have sold out of everything, or the inventory levels are down right now. And I mean, ask John. John, did your inventory get destroyed?
I don't know. I think so.
So it's what is Jay is FBA? He's Amazon and eBay. He sells very similar to what I sell. He likes electronics, so we sell a lot of the same stuff on Amazon.
eBay is really dead just because I've been lazy. I haven't listed for 30 days, and so I get like a sale every 2 days if I'm lucky. It does its own thing over there for now.
Yeah, that was very, very interesting that I had a lot of big items sell in the last 3 or 4 days. Stuff that somebody paid. I have a Wii in the box that somebody paid $150 for, which is that's just crazy money. And they did it. I sold 2 of them, which is even crazier.
Probably list one over there somewhere.
I sold a camera that had been sitting around for a little while for $250. Sold a pasta maker for $350. I mean, it's just bigger items sold this week that have been sitting around for a few months, which was very interesting. The pasta maker was a good deal. So if you're at yard sales and see stuff that's that's new, you got to figure out what it is. So I walk up this yard sale. We were an hour, 2 hours after it started, and it was in a plain brown box, and it said pasta maker $50. And so if you don't know how manufacturers, a lot of them do, I know Keurig does it. There are a lot of them. Philips does it. And this is a Philips pasta machine. When they ship it to a retailer, they put it in a plain brown box so that the retail box doesn't get destroyed a lot of times, not all the time. And so this one was in its plain brown box, and then the retail box was inside of it. And it was just sitting there, $50. And it had 2 of for pasta machines, you can get the different size disc. And it had 2 sets of the discs. And so I started looking at the machine, and the machine was worth $3.25 on Amazon. They wanted $50 for it. And there was very few sellers, and each one of those sets of discs was worth $75 a piece. It's just sitting there. And so one of the discs sold immediately when I bought this summer. And so I had my money back. And this week, somebody else bought the other disc and the machine, which was very nice. So, what's the thing that one of the big theories that, Dusty was right along with me. Through the years, we've always said, if you're going to buy stuff, get your money out of it. That's an important part. You're under no pressure to take any offers or lower the price on the $300 pasta machine whenever you've got your $50 back within the first week. And so it's very important that you list expensive items first. That's how you end up with a huge 2 storage buildings full of crap like I've got and there's no money in it because everything is paid for because you've gotten your cash out of it. And now it's a matter of getting a lot more profit out of it. Yeah, Larry. So Larry reached out to me yesterday and wanted to know if I had a GoPro 8. I forget what the big deal between the 8 and the 9 was, but there was a little bit of a difference between the 8 and the 9, which made me upgrade. I think I had an 8. I didn't do the 10 or the 11, but the 9 was there was something with the 9 that it does, Larry, that I can't remember the difference of the 8 that made it significantly better. Oh, it got the front screen. The 9 got the front screen. So
7. I think anything. I mean, if you're just starting out and you want to get a GoPro, anything above a 7 and above is probably all right for you. Because 7 got the stabilization, which works really good.
And so I would even I would even look at the 3. Who makes the 360 camera? Insta, or they've got probably a camera that's just as good. That's about $150 cheaper than the GoPro.
The biggest issue with me with GoPro is everything's proprietary. The microphone to plug into it's proprietary, all that crap. So but I'm an Apple guy, so I'm used to that stuff.
Yeah, DJI makes the Osmo Action 3, brand new, and it's their latest and greatest. It's $329. Currently, the brand new GoPro Hero 11 is $499. So it's $170 cheaper, and the Osmo. I mean, we'll just geek out on cameras. The Osmo people, it's what brought the front screen. It's got this. I think the biggest difference with the Osmo is it doesn't have the overheating problems. The one thing about GoPros, I haven't had the issue, but a lot of people talk about GoPros, just freezing. My 8 used to freeze a lot, and the only way you can get it done is to pull the battery out. And so whatever you're filming at the time, you lose. My 8 did that a little bit. My 9 doesn't do that. but the Osmo doesn't have those issues. So, you know, if you're going to buy a new camera, I would suggest you looking at the DJI Osmo 3 versus any of the GoPros. And Instamake's a 360, which is that makes me motion sick watching it, so I won't do those. It's just weird the way the editing. I can't imagine how difficult. It's hard enough for me to get editing done in one plane. I can't imagine where I'm trying to pick out video in 360 view. That's somebody's winning.
With me.
Not me.
Somebody what?
So Lag sold his mom's dishwasher. So congratulations. Yeah, Larry, I get it. I think I actually sold that camera on an auction show one night. Matter of fact, I know I did on one of the YouTube auctions. It was weird. So I'm sitting there last night trying to find something to watch because when you've been under the weather and you're watching too much YouTube, your For You page gets wiped out of everything you normally watch. And there was a kid on there who bought on eBay. He bought 28 pounds of cameras. That's all just, and I think he paid $73 for it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this video. And there was rarely a camera he didn't pull out that I either hadn't had or had. Yeah.
We came across a storage unit buyer. In fact, he has 2 or 3 yard sales a year. So in a storage unit crap, and it's super cheap. And we bought a box of cameras one year. Must have been probably closer to 100 pounds of cameras. And I sold a lot of cameras, that point and shoot stuff.
Yeah, so there were a couple of point and shoots he had that were Pentax that I'd never seen that were worth $40, $50. So Tim, the Osmo is it looks very similar to the GoPro. Other than its lenses, it's more pronounced, bigger, it's round instead of square. Other than that, they're almost identical in size. It's hard to other than that, they function the same. They do everything the same. I think the Osmo's even got the same mounts. It'll use GoPro mounts as well.
I cannot see things.
So Jerry says he just got off the phone with eBay. I'm sorry about that.
That was your first mistake.
They keep going up on my transaction defect rate, but they can't tell you why. I've never experienced that issue.
I've had my transaction defect rate be a little wonky, but never enough that would make any difference in the above standard or power or whatever you're operated or anything like that. I never looked into it. I did call them once. Oh, we can't do anything about that, and that was that. And that was so I have had that issue, but it goes away.
Yeah. So Charlie Brown said he gifted himself 3 sets of Husky Shelving.
Nice.
The shelving, folks, if y'all haven't looked at the price of shelving, holy crap, is it gone? Shelving is damn near doubled, like everything else. The shelving that I've got out in the building, I think it was like $69 at Costco. They're $139 each now, if you can catch them in stock.
Yeah, most of I got the metal shelving. Walmart, I think, for like 50 cents. And the plastic ones were about the same price from, I want to say, Home Depot. I like the plastic ones better.
Scott, do you know why Amazon only charges like $27 for shipping when they select expedited, but it costs me $100 to ship next day air? Because you have your shipping set up wrong. That's not Amazon's fault. That's 100% your fault, Mark. So you need to go into your shipping settings and wherever that went, because you can, the way mine are set up, if you want next day air to Hawaii or Alaska, it's a stupid amount. Because from here, that's a stupid amount. But for everybody else, it's like $29. Same thing as you've got, $27. But it's because they are charging based on how you set it up.
And you can really, I don't do the automated settings. I have mine manually set. and you can really make money. I have for the past few days. I've had a lot of expediteds that are still ground.
I've had no expedited this year, which is weird because I think I have one. Last year I had a lot of them. I didn't have as many this year.
Saturday through Tuesday. No, Saturday through yesterday. I think I was high. I mean, it was a lot of expedited and a couple second days,
I mean,
which
Saturday through Tuesday, I was probably high too, but I didn't get any expedited shit.
I got 0.
I got 0.
I had 0 last year.
I had 0 last year too. Even when I was doing FBM, I had 0 because I turned it off.
Would you expedite this? Nope.
Yeah.
for me, I don't care. I make more money. I don't care.
I get that you make more money.
Mark, it was a big box. A lot of
Yes.
so you some. It went from Texas to Pennsylvania, which is
Expensive.
that's a hard one to do. So that's the one. So that's the one thing you've got to think of when you're setting up shipping policies. eBay, Amazon, wherever, you've got to understand what the cost. What's your worst case cost of shipping could be, and maybe because maybe you need an extra large. Once an item goes so big that you need a shipping policy just for that, so that you take the risk out of something costing you a fortune like that. You could only use it for maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but that 2 or 3 times a year saves you quite a bit of money. There's no limit to how many shipping policies on either platform, eBay or Amazon, that you can have. So it's as many as you're willing to set up.
Like I have a specific policy that I use for items that are between just over a pound, and with UPS I can do it next day here locally, and I set up Washington, Oregon, Idaho. That I'll do it within 2 to 3 days, and they usually get it next day. I have my ship times really tight on those ones, but then for the rest of the country, it's extended out.
What did everybody learn this year? That's what I want to know. What are you going to do different? This is the time of year you start thinking about what are you going to do different next year than you did this year. For example, I said my fees last year, my storage fees last year ran $24,000 for October, November, December at Amazon. I said I was going to lower that. They are probably going to come in right at $11,000 this year.
Halved it.
What's that?
You more than halved it, yeah.
I'm sure my numbers are bigger than a lot of people, but what if you drop a bunch of zeros off the end and it's the same numbers everybody else deals with? What did you learn, and what are you going to change next year? And I suggest you write it down on next year's calendar so it comes up, so that you see what you thought about that you learned from this year to improve next year.
And the one thing I would tell you too is if you're waiting till now to figure out what you're going to do next year's next week. You should really be dealing a quarter ahead. So I've been trying to work on different business opportunities and different business things, and I've been working on them for 6 weeks now. It's you got that. That's one of the things I've learned is trying to get better at planning. I'm a procrastinator at heart, always have been, and so I've been trying to do my best to work my way out of procrastination. It's been tough. I mean, I still do it. I'm still struggling, but a lot of dealing with who you are and how you do things is admitting to yourself, maybe there's a better way.
What is
I think for me, I'm just setting higher and higher and higher goals.
The one thing I can tell you, Jay, is watch how high your goals get.
They're reasonable.
Yeah, still got to be reachable, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not shooting for the moon.
I think I've made that mistake where I've shot for the moon, and this year that really got me because we're way behind and we need to catch up. So
Anybody says those words together, it just when they say we're way behind. Am I the only one that The devil went down to Georgia flashes through your mind.
It does now.
He was way behind. He was willing to make a deal.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so John is saying that lumber's come back down some, OBS is down.
Yeah, everything. And that's what's going to happen to housing prices. It's going to happen in the car industry. It's going to happen it's going to happen across a lot of industries.
I already noticed, at least locally, that used car prices have come way back down.
Well, the first thing I noticed was that they have inventory.
Starting to, yeah.
Yeah, so I was watching a video the other day, and they were talking about you should not. There's only 3 or 4 manufacturers that you should even think about paying MSRP, and they were the usual suspects. Toyota and Honda had the least inventory. Toyota was the worst. I think they had about 11 days on lots. But if you went all the way up to Buick has like 90. So Buick, Kia, some of these have 80, 90 days of inventory on their lots now. And so,
well, part of it is they overproduced.
Well, they were catching up for one thing. So, well, they were catching up, and as they were catching up, demand went down because the interest rates are, we talk about the housing market and what the interest rate does. The interest rate also has a big effect on the price of a car. Any of your larger purchases. So,
well, it's tough right now. If you're smart, you're stacking all the money you can possibly. You're stacking cash as high as you can. You're saving as much money as possible, because over the next 6 months, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. I've looked at 2 negotiations so far, buying other people out, smaller companies, manufacturers. These deals are going to start popping up all over the place. There's a lot of people that are realizing this free money is no longer free, and their margins have to be profitable to be able to start paying down these loans, because loan repayments are starting next month for a lot of the PPP loans. There's going to be a lot of opportunities if you keep your eyes open.
Tactical Z, I don't know who the heck would buy a Kia.
Smart people.
I don't know.
Especially in baby shit green.
I don't know who would buy a Kia, much less buy 3 of them.
And only one of them is green currently.
What are the other 2 in the paint shop?
No, because one of them shit the bed.
Which one died?
After 150,000 miles.
Who? Marsh's car died?
No, my old green one died.
I thought you got rid of that. I didn't know you kept it.
Yeah, he got rid of it. It needed an engine.
My first green one died. Marsh's has always been green. And so I bought I call it orange. She calls it red. Somewhere in the middle. Like almost a rusty orange, rusty color. That's what you've seen it, John.
Yeah. Hey, it's nice to know my phone told me that I'm live on YouTube. So thank you,
Mine
phone.
still hasn't told me.
This is the time when you start. I don't know who it was. I wish I could go back and find it. I watched a video, and there's a guy that's selling 8 figures, and the question was to him, "What do you do different now than when you were selling 7 figures?" And it made me think, because he said, I spent more time planning out next year, meaning he's already looking at 2024, 2025, than I did planning out the current year. He said, and if you think about it, as you go back further in time, the further you're able to plan out into the future, the further you're going to be able to, the bigger you're going to be able to grow your business if you're planning out in the future. If you start planning Christmas now, people laugh. I ordered my Christmas for 2023 last week. The order's into China. It's done. That's how you have to operate to get to these bigger levels. Now, if you're not looking to get to a bigger level, that doesn't matter then.
But even if you're not, there's a lot of lessons in that, John. So even if you're not looking, even if you're looking to maintain what you've got, you can still make it easier on yourself. There's lots of things you can do by planning out and looking ahead and just realizing, if maybe you do, what's the reason you do this? Do you do this for quality of life and time with family? What's the reason you resell? Do you like the lifestyle? You can increase the things you like more by figuring out how to make what you're doing now easier. Maybe it's this year. This is the year you hire an accountant to take all that accounting work off of you and not worry about it anymore. Then what do you do with the time? But I'm paying an accountant $200 a month. I mean, how hard is it to if you've got 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours a month back? Can you make $200 in 10 hours? If you can't, yeah, maybe you need the accountant to begin with.
John's got a ghost door back there.
That's the wife. Where's my coffee? My skinny wife.
So if you've lost,
she's lost some weight.
So
30 pounds. She lost 30 pounds in 3 sizes. I've lost 40 pounds and 8 inches on my waist.
Very nice.
I wonder what skinny John looks like.
No, I don't. I'm not skinny. Look, I mean, it's still.
No, when you get there,
it's all scrappy skin and stuff. It's ugly.
It is what it is, though. It's healthier.
Oh, I feel. Listen, I had the grandkids. I flew to New Jersey. I got in a freaking coach seat. I never fly coach. I flew coach, and it was actually, I don't want to say comfortable, but it wasn't annoying.
It was bearable.
It was bearable. Coming back, it was 5 hours. But this is when you need to start planning out what you're going to do next year. What are you going to change to improve your life? We all did this to improve our life. I got 10 days till I retire, guys. And I didn't sell the business. The business is going to run by itself. And it took me years to get to that point. It took thousands of hours of building systems and processes to be able to do that. What can you do to improve your life? Can you find one item that you could sell over and over again and just help with a car payment? Just one thing. Can you find one RA item that you can replenish over and over and over again? What is it you want? Do you trim out some of the niches you're working in? Scott's big on electronics, and it sounds like Jay is too. Do you stick with just electronics? I can tell you one thing. In 2023, the parts market is going to go berserk. Yeah, parts for electronics are going to go through the roof.
Speaking of which, I've been parting out everything because I don't have the money to source right now. So it's the stuff I already have, the stuff that couldn't sell because it was broken, or board games missing board game pieces. You could probably make a good dime. You're not going to make a living, probably. But just go to your Goodwill and buy a board game and part that thing out. I bet you every board game in that store has at least one parts listing on eBay.
No, I bet you.
There's a lot of money in it.
I mean, well, look at the guy who runs. What's the guy who started the Legos and does all the? You can buy any Lego piece from him.
Bricks, brickworks,
brickwork. That guy started out by doing something small. If there's got to be somebody who dominates the game board piece. I mean,
there is.
If you
there's one guy that's real big in the game board pieces on eBay.
I mean, if you had the ability to organize yourself and to and discipline to sit down and list these things and know where they are, that you could absolutely make a living on board game pieces.
I know which pieces are worth saving, because I know people that save like the whole game. They break down the whole game, and they sell boards once in a while, but they have hundreds of boards, and it doesn't, that's not that it takes up space. Based on your space, you have to work within your space.
I had a Star Wars Duel or something like that board game, and it was missing quite a few of the pieces. There was 30 some guys in the, 30 some little guys. And I sold them for $38, just the guys alone the other day. And I was waiting to find the rest of the pieces for that game, like another copy of the game. Well, I never did. So why hold on to that stuff for so long? Make some money off of it. I had that game for 2 years, sitting up on a shelf, hoping to find another copy so that I could put one game together. And that's not. I mean, that's just holding money. You got to make a profit on it. That game's going to make me quite a bit of profit. It's harder to find one. I didn't know that. I just had it.
Yeah, John, that's a good point. So if you sell on eBay and have an eBay store, use your coupon. If you haven't used your shipping coupon this week, get the free boxes. They're this week. And I know you don't care, John, but
the other tip is if you think you've used it, go check and make sure. It'll say already redeemed in the box. And that is under marketing, subscriber discounts in your seller.
But I did a video one time about eyeglasses, reading glasses from Dollar Tree, and how you could make a living with it. I don't know if anybody ever followed up with that, but that's the type of thing that you can start now, small, like Brickworks, and build into something. Different lots of different strengths of reading glasses, and as you learn which ones are the best, then you work your way into where it's long, steady money. That's
and that's where, like you said, John, I mean, I'm keeping that cash in reserves, but I've had quite a few opportunities I've come across lately that I just can't pass up. I mean, I had a buyout of $1,300. It's like, yeah, easy money. The stuff's all 5 into 30 to 50. You just can't say no. And it moves quick.
I'm sure I'm going to get offered probably in January. I'm probably going to get offered somewhere between 10 and 15 truckloads of product at 2 cents on the dollar. I'm not talking retail dollar. I'm talking 2 cents on the wholesale dollar. It's probably a penny on retail dollar. That kind of discount is just, those things are going to become bigger and bigger over the next 6 months. Eventually, Walmart's going to have to blow out their overstock.
their stores are. I've noticed that the last couple of weeks I've been in there, they are still full. They have a lot of inventory right now.
They got 8 containers sitting out here in the desert where I'm at, and I haven't seen anybody in any of them. So the stuff ain't selling. Chocolate covered cherries last year you couldn't find. They got piles of them this year.
Jay's out near Seattle.
Jay's just north of the Socialist Republic of California.
In the
I thought it was Oregon now.
It's expanding its territory.
It's working its way to me.
Yeah, currently they've taken over Seattle and maybe a couple other big cities. But the opportunity next year. There's going to be folks. You got to keep your eye out and keep watching. There's going to be the shortages that you're seeing are just going to continue. What is it? What is it now? I don't know that I'd sell it, but children's Tylenol has been short for the last. It's been on the news and everything else. You got some dangers with price gouging and that kind of stuff, because if they come and say it's an essential item, which technically,
they could
say that, but that you're only at the beginning of the shortages, and nobody knows why that's short.
Does anybody sell chocolate covered cherries?
What about chocolate covered cherries?
Anybody selling them right now?
No.
All right, listen. Somebody just asked, the Glock 30 fan said, that's the question. Who's buying chocolate covered cherries? Those chocolate covered cherries come out this time of year. It's the only time you can get them. If you're looking for an investment, buy them and sit on them until Valentine's Day. There are people that absolutely love those things.
No, they're hot between now and Valentine's Day. Yeah.
and you cannot. The problem is a lot of people dump them into Amazon, and as the closer Christmas gets, the quicker they drop their price. They start selling out, and come February, Valentine's Day, if you still have them, you're getting top dollar for them. Steve sold an item for breast cancer. You know what I'm talking about, Steve?
Absolutely.
Everybody had them in October. In January, we got them at Dollar Tree. They were doing $9-10 a piece. You can't get thousands of them, but you can get enough that you carry them over. This is the kind of stuff you have to learn to be able to last a long time in this business. Can you flip a couple of T-shirts? Sure, you can flip a couple of T-shirts to start. You want to flip a couple pairs of rare jeans that you find at Goodwood? Yeah, that stuff will sell too. But you have to learn where are the places that you can target to make money year over year at certain periods of time. In certain periods of time, things are seasonal. Everybody's talking about, well, Christmas is over. Guess what? I have a product line that is now picking up because businesses are buying it up for the tax advantage before the end of the year. And it rolls into tax season, January and February. So when my sales start to slow down for Christmas, my sales pick up for business to business items through the end of the first quarter. These are the things you have to learn.
So, John Jones, it's all kinds of medicine. So one of the ones I take, even Costco was out. I was in a Walgreens the other day, and a lady was asking. I was wandering by, and she was talking to the pharmacist, and I heard the pharmacist say, because they're speaking from behind, and he said, "Everyone is out of that medicine, ma'am. Oh, maybe I was in a grocery store, but he said everyone's out of that medicine, ma'am, everywhere." And he said that there are alternatives that your doctor can write a different prescription. You need to go back to your doctor. They should know this medicine is out and write something else. So there's lots of things that are. It's not going to be just medicine. There's things that are going to supply issues, whatever. If you thought 2022 was bad, just hold on for 2023. Remember, the worst things that happen. The election's over. There's no pressure. So look what happened in 2020 once these knuckleheads got elected, and it doesn't matter what party. They're all fucking idiots. They know they've got 6 to 8 months grace period. They can do whatever the hell they want to you before they have to start begging for your vote again. And so the first part of 2023.
You ever wonder why they sign executive orders in the first couple of weeks in office? That's why. Because people will forget about it by the time re-election comes up.
Americans have a very short memory span.
Conspiracy theory, they're trying to kill off the sick and the old people. You might want to do some research on that. I wouldn't call that a conspiracy theory. But it's can you identify the opportunity is the biggest thing. People, I get tired of all these posts, people going, my sales are terrible. I've got nothing to sell. I've got nothing to this. I went to my Walmart and the clearance was awful. I can walk into Walmart and under 5 minutes find you a handful of things to list. They're not on clearance. They're full price. You're gonna make money on Amazon. eBay is a little harder because the pricing on eBay is just crazy. But you got to know the systems. You look at something and go, well, there's not a ton of money in that. I'm like, what are you going to sell it small and light? Well, I never thought of that. Know your business and know what you're doing, in order to take advantage of these items.
It's funny. I know there's a certain item that Scott always used to pick up at Walmart. So I was in there the other day. See, do these still have any value? They're $288. Toy department. You probably could figure it out just from. Sure enough, the thing's like $14 or $15 still.
I've sold a ton of them this Christmas.
And I'm gated in them right now, but geez, it's not hard to get in. Ungating guides are all over the place nowadays for free if you need to do it. I saw one the other day. Toys are easy to get ungated, and even certain brands are easy to get ungated. E-distribution is the go-to for that kind of thing. So there's not really an excuse for me not to do it. But I walked into a Walmart, they were there, and they're selling for a pretty decent amount of money.
They're not any around here because I bought them all.
Well, here's the problem with stuff like that. Mr. Sadie alluded to this a little while ago. Part of the problem is it's boring. It's hard. Well, listen, what Brickworks did is very hard to do. Steve, you're working on those ornaments and the pendant things and all that. That's very hard to do because it doesn't take off quickly. Your direct effort now will not yield a result until further out. And the problem with yielding a result further out is a lot of times you have to pay today. You have a bill to pay today, so you can't focus on that longevity.
Right, and that's where we're at right now. It's hard to.
I've been through that. The thing is you got to find the one little product that you can dedicate your time to, and find the dedication and drive. It's a mindset. It's like my weight loss. I'm on a program. Do I need that program? No. I'm probably going to get off the program and do it on my own. I changed my mindset that this was going to be the priority in my life. I have to get this weight off of me so I don't end up like my mother, who at 76 is like, I just don't feel like doing it. She don't feel like doing it because she's 70 pounds overweight. I love my mother, but part of it is she's overweight. It hurts to walk. I'm not allowing it. I didn't get this far in life to have to sit in a chair for the rest of my life. Once you change your mindset, you're able to accomplish it.
So a lot of these businesses, if you want a repeatable, can be very boring. You could make any of your grocery stores or any of your. Remember, what's beautiful about grocery is it's a commodity. People eat it over. I mean, it's a consumable. They eat it, and so if I could build you a grocery. You can make your grocery store your wholesaler, and very quickly you can have 50, 75 items that you buy and send in 10 or 15 of them, and then over and over and over. So you're not going to make crazy money, but you can make a solid 25 or 30% on every item. Very, very low returns because the platform, as long as you're in date, they don't allow returns on food items. Frankie, quit eating everything. But most people don't want boring. Most people want, what the hot item is. They want to walk in, look at clearance, turn around and quit.
That'll get you in trouble after a while. It really will. And it got us in trouble. I'm not going to lie about it. Because we're only searching in certain parts of stores and only searching for cheap or good, huge ROIs and stuff like that. It will catch up to you.
I really think that a good mix is a good plan. I mean, having the base stuff that always sells, you have a couple things that are hot, and having that base income to rely on is nice. And stuff that sells quick, stuff that sells slow. It all, having that mix for me is key.
Yeah, so somebody asked if we have a doxy ramp for the bed. Yes, there's one to the bed. There's one to the couch because Frankie treats the couches like he's in his own little hamster world. He goes up the ramp to the couch, goes across the couch, over the table to the recliners, and he gets to the end of the recliner and he jumps to my recliner. So, yeah.
The Glowforge thing is working out. It was working out. Now this week I haven't sold a damn thing, but it's nobody's going to order when I have 3 or 4 day handling time, 3 or 4 days before Christmas. Just doesn't make sense.
You want me to
But
tell
we
you
had
one
one
thing about?
product.
I'm gonna tell you the one thing about the boring though. Most people are not going to do it. That's why most people don't stick with books, because books are god awful boring. Most people don't stick with, a RA wholesale model because it is so repeatable. It's mind drowning, but it makes solid money, and if allows you to if you could use that as your base and know that by once twice a week stocking up on items and making sending smaller shipments, so you send a medium box to Amazon twice a week, you would have plenty of time to search for home run items, as long as John has preached a base income for as long as I've known him, and there's a lot of truth to that. If you knew that you covered all your bases, and you had time to search for the wins, and understood that as long as you covered the bottom where you never got in trouble, you could swing for the fences all you wanted to. Baseball, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. A couple days before retiring his jersey, we're talking about Franco Harris. Yeah, live your life. Franco Harris, 72 years old. One of the most iconic plays in NFL history. The immaculate 1972 in the playoffs. A crazy that he picks up a deflection. Just the craziest play you've ever seen. 72 years old. He passed away yesterday. There was some soap star died yesterday too. I didn't know who she was, but
So back to the Glowforge. We had one product that meant very well for us. Well, I'm out of the product, so I got to find a part of the product. I got to find some more stuff. But we'll get there. We'll get there with it. And there's another product I'm coming up with, and maybe I'll show it on the show once I make one. But it'll be after the holiday season. I think you guys will like it. But I know that it's something that's underserved. It's a market that's underserved. So we're going to hopefully, and it's cheap. It's cheap to make, but nobody's doing it. So hopefully
you're trouble.
Hopefully it'll work out for us there.
You're nothing but trouble.
I would give this cat away for free, but my wife would not. So now she's actually a pretty rare cat. You don't find too many orange cats that are female, number one. She was a little tiny. She fit in the palm of my hand when she.
So Jerry, here's a good one. I wasn't going to mention this one, but you mentioned the Polaroid Bolo 5 years ago. You can still sell, if you can pick up a Polaroid Canyon for a couple bucks, you can get $25 for it all day long from the same company.
Retrospect is buying again. So.
Everyone you can sell. But if you look at Polaroid and went a step farther, there are 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 models that are just stupid money on Polaroids, whether they work or not. And so I went to an estate sale. This was the second day of the estate sale. I asked somebody who had went to the estate sale, was there anything there? No, everything sucked. Because they live right down the street from us. So I'm like, me and Harlan went by and stopped by there. I walked in the front door and looked over there. I'm like, I'd be damned. There is a Polaroid sitting there for $5. One of the cameras I've never found was an SX70. There's an SX70 Polaroid camera sitting there for $5.
Cha-ching. Plus, you got even your regular point shoot Polaroids. You got, well, that's a point shoot, but like the business edition holds a little extra money. The Barbie one holds a little extra money. The Tasmanian Devil one,
the construction one,
the yellow one, yeah, the construction one. There's that. Even your regular plain 600 film camera is getting $25 to $30. I sold the last one for like $32.
Yeah, that camera, broken or not, is worth $75 to $100. And so I'm looking at the auction, and I'm searching for cameras, and this strange looking camera sitting there with a regular just film camera, and I'm like, okay, I wanted to bid for $6. Nice. I had never seen it before. It was a white, some kind of Polaroid. It was another one of those that folds down flat and pulls up. It was another one of those, even in broken shape, which I don't even know if this thing works. It's worth $80 to $100 broken.
Yeah. I've never physically seen a white one, but I've seen them on eBay.
I finally found a white one.
Nice. There's just different models of that SX70, but they're all.
I mean, in this auction too, I picked up a camera for $25 and I sold it for $168 next day. I drove all the way to Fayetteville, which is 30 minutes from here, just to pick that camera up so I could sell it, and I sold it on Saturday.
Yeah, but how many cameras have you sold over the years to gain that knowledge? See, that's what people don't understand. They think they're going to go out, take $100 and put it in their pocket, and they're going to be millionaires overnight. There's so much instant gratification in this country that they forget about all the hard work. They see the numbers I put up and they go, oh, he got lucky. They don't see the years, 15 years of hard work. And my wife and I splitting $1 French fry on the McDonald's menu and asking for a courtesy water because we didn't have the money to eat while we were out shopping. And, it's.
Well, the way I learned these point shoot cameras, and not the Polaroids were common knowledge for everybody, but the point shoot, I bought a box of 100 pounds of them, at a yard sale because the guy just didn't know what they were or didn't have the time. And I took everything out of there that was worth money, and then I sold the rest of them for like $50 on Facebook Marketplace. So somebody else probably made a few bucks. The ones that I couldn't get to work or didn't know, couldn't find or whatever, I just sold as bulk. But I sold probably 40 cameras out of that lot for a minimum of $25 a piece. Your point and shoots, your good point and shoots with the zoom lenses are going to get you $25 every single time. But you got to do a little testing.
The one thing about people don't value them, they're $1 or $2. They don't value those at all. Nobody does.
Ever.
What is it? The Olympus that's $100 minimum. Is that the one with the?
There's some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I found one.
But anything Olympus, you should be looking up.
I sold two of those last week, $139, $179.
You know what? But for me, electronics, I can't stand looking at it. I have no interest in electronics.
What are you doing?
I enjoy it, and I enjoy trying to get something to work that doesn't work too. So I'll sit here and tinker with it, and then I can resell it because I got it to work.
Or
it goes in the trash can because I didn't get it to work.
PPP. And that PPP money dried up. People are wasting it. They didn't do what they were supposed to do with it, and it's going to create a lot of opportunities for a lot of people.
Damn right. Damn.
Next year. And the year after.
We considered taking it, but we didn't do it. And it's probably a good thing that we didn't. So.
I took it and I took a lot of it. I ain't going to lie.
Well, I'm not certain that we would have been able to use it all the correct way. And that's what got people in trouble, or what's going to get people in trouble. If they didn't use it the correct way. They used it for all sorts of stupid shit.
Yeah, I know people who went out and bought a Lamborghini with it. And, they will have to face the music. They have no choice. 2023 for me, I'm looking at doubling the size of my business. We're breaking ground on a 20,000 square foot warehouse in March. Well, I'm not. They are. I'll be watching them from a freaking cruise somewhere. I'll be down in Mexico or something.
Hey, quit eating my chair.
You have to, when you have opportunities like that,
you can't eat the chair.
You have to take advantage of them. Scott will tell you how many times have we walked into Walmart and I picked up stuff I sold 5-6 years ago and it's still making money.
It's still making money. I've got a whole list in my mind, just like you do, John. I walk in there, every one of them still makes money.
And it's like, why don't I do it? Because it's not a large enough scale for me. I have to be on I now have people, unfortunately, it's no longer me that I have to worry about. I have people that depend on their income from me to feed their families. So you have to but it's possible to make money. I do it all the time. I walk into Walmart, I pick up a single item, I scan it and go, that's profit.
Yeah,
There
so
was one from Dollar Tree that was doing $9.
this is a national holiday, so y'all were lucky I'm here. I'm trying to keep up.
What national holiday?
What?
Early signing day for college football.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, this is the first day that football recruits for next year can sign their letters of intent.
Speaking of Dollar Tree, we'll go back to that breast cancer, and I'm not afraid to say what it was because they don't make them anymore. One of the breast cancer things I was selling, not all of them. I'm not going to tell you all of it, but the one was we were selling magnets that stick on your refrigerator. You can put them on your car, whatever. They're big square magnets, and everybody on Amazon at the time had single magnets. They were trying to get like $10 a piece for one single magnet. Well, that was not the way to go. We made our own listing, and we put all 4 different magnets together. We got $17.95 for them. And so at $1 a piece, which it was at the time, we couldn't keep those things in stock. We were all over the place. Now it was a seasonal thing. I mean, there's times that you can sell that, like some of the other breast cancer stuff you can sell at different times of year. That one didn't sell after, but we sold a lot of those. It was a lot of hard work because that was one of the ones that you couldn't order from Dollar Tree. You had to physically go and get them. But there was a lot of money, and that listing was so good that if they ever do come back, now I've given it away, but I still have the listing it's on my Amazon, but it's like, I don't know what they call that it's not actually listed. It's just there so that if I ever needed to use it again, I don't have to remake the listing.
So Larry, so here's a point. So
I'm sorry about my mic today. I don't know what's going on with it.
There's different ways to attack this beast. Okay, so one of the things I did early on was I learned one store, learned Rite Aid, learned it backwards and forwards. There's a reason why I can go to Walgreens in the toy aisle and tell you in a couple of minutes because you notice what's different because you've been in there enough. I have some catching up to do because I don't scan a lot of the girl stuff. There's plenty of money there. There was a lot of LOL on clearance. It went fast. But I can't sell LOL, so I don't generally mess with it. I mean, I could get ungated. I just hadn't messed with it. But if you learn that's another example of how you can do this. Learn a store.
Think back to
Walgreens.
You remember when we had that text chat? You would say, "Hey man, stop at Rite Aid. There's a Hot Wheel." Remember that Hot Wheel set we were buying? It was like a year old that we were getting $140 for as soon as we bought it.
Yeah, the secret.
But he knew Rite Aid so well. And then I would say, hey, if you go to Dollar Tree, the pickle, remember the pickles?
Oh yeah.
The pickles are $10 right now on Amazon, selling faster than anybody could ship them in. So he would give me something at Rite Aid. I would give him something from Dollar Tree. And you know how many of those cross each other or sit in the same parking lot across the street? They just seem to go so well together. It was like back then it was shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, how many?
Not so many barrel fish right now, but at Rite Aid anyway.
But how many stores do you have to learn before you can, So if you're good at Rite Aid, chances are you can figure out Walgreens, you can figure out CVS. If you're gonna do drugstores, if you're gonna do, I would tell you, Walmart will be harder just because there's so much competition. The same thing with Target, but pick something that. People would tell me all the time, I don't know how you do anything in Rite Aid because I can't find a thing in there. There's never anything that makes any money. And I just thought somebody on this panel told me that till I walked into his.
And
I've never been to Seattle.
Oh, damn it.
But Steve will tell you that the day that we met and I went through his Rite Aid, he's like, well, I'll be damned.
Well, there was a lot of stuff I wasn't an RA guy at the time either. And then I became one, and now I'm not one again. So, but things have changed too. Now you got to learn a whole new system at that store. They've changed a lot of things, and it's not as easy. and I haven't taken the time yet to learn the system.
Yeah, if you figure out their systems, you're golden. You know, if you figure out when they mark down, when they put new stuff out, when they do that kind of stuff. Rite Aid was beautiful because if it's on clearance at one, it's on clearance at all of them for the same price. Walgreens is a little different. Walgreens, the manager still has some discretion. There are national clearances, but because local sells at different rates, they can allocate some of their dollars in a Walgreens. So just because, but
what was great at Rite Aid is a lot of them hadn't had it marked down.
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
So even your competitors, if you had any, wouldn't know that it was, on sale at one. If it was on sale at one Rite Aid, it was on at all of them.
Right, and it hasn't been tagged yet, and no one knows.
And that was beautiful.
That's the other thing is when you start finding stuff, man, keep your freaking mouth shut. Don't tell everybody. And the people in your inner circle, make sure they're really your inner circle. I was on an ego trip with the Pop Rocks. I honestly believe
no, not an ego trip.
That the Pop Rocks would have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars if I would have just kept my mouth shut.
And so,
and Scott will tell you, he was in the warehouse a couple of times. I had 200 cases of Pop Rocks sitting from the Dollar Tree where they shipped them right to the store. And the guy for the truck said, "You got more shit in this truck than all the stores do." When you find stuff, keep it to yourself, because the more people that find out about it, the harder it's going to be to make a living. And never stop. Never stop. I don't know who this Felix guy is, but he helped another small business. Look to help somebody. You'd be amazed at how much you grow by helping somebody else.
At least grow in here, if nothing else.
And I think one thing you haven't talked about, Scott, did you notice that small and light is going up?
Be very careful with small and light.
I have not.
You better know what you're doing if you get involved in the new small and light as of January 18th.
Why? What's other than the dollar? What's changing?
The weights, the weights, the fees, everything. You can get hurt very quick.
In regards to the fees, it looks like it's getting better from what I've read.
Like I said, be very careful. Know what you're doing.
Yeah. Know the rules inside out so you understand.
That's the problem is people hear me say, "Oh, small and light's a good thing," and they run out and they don't learn what they're doing, and then they say, "Oh, he don't know what the hell he's talking about." No, I gave you an idea. You need to learn what you're doing. Small and light, all the weights are changing, so it looks like the fee's staying the same, but it's really not. And then you got Amazon that screws around with the weights and the measurements. So you got to stay on top of the weights and measurements, because they will go up.
Yeah, they're changing the sizing tiers to more of them.
And I mean, there's a lot of things involved in small and light. I'm not saying that you can't make money with it. I sell half my catalog is small and light. So, but you got to know what you're doing. In the beginning, I'm going to tell you right now, small and light's going to suck in January and February. Because all you idiots are going to go try and do small and light because you see the price jumped up, and you're not going to know what you're doing, and you're going to cost yourself money.
I mean, one of my highest volume products is in the small and light right now, and it can definitely I have too many sitting on a dock somewhere that never got received.
Yeah.
So I'm fulfilling them out of my house at $13, $14, and I'm still doing 20 to 30 a day. So I'm fine at $12. I'll do just fine.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that a lot of people they take what we say on this show and they don't expand their knowledge on it. We tell them, go look at electronics. And then they walk in and they buy up every DVD player without doing any research on it. And then he don't know what the hell, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground because all I did was lose money.
So it looks like it looks like for the small standard they just added a different they made that they're mimicking the post office. 4 or less, 4 to
tiers.
8 to 12, 12 to 16. So there's a fulfillment. So that just means that, and then large standards looks where the price increase came, which folks, you got to understand too, what is small and what is large is based on dimensions. Which one of where does it fall? Because 377 still is not a bad fulfillment fee for 12 to 16 ounces.
Well, I sold an item for Christmas. I sent 10,000 units in, and we've backed it up with probably 2,500 units. And they were small. It was a small and light item, and it's flying off the shelf. I mean, it literally flies. Is there a lot of money? Yeah, I'm making 100% ROI. I pay $3 for it, and I get $3 profit on every one that sells. If you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. Now, Scott's told you, see, this is where I built my business from people around me and the knowledge they had. Earlier, Scott said a great place to go is in grocery because it's a consumable item and people have to buy it over and over and over and over again, right? Now, Jay just said small and light's a good deal. This is where I would take the grocery and the small and light, and I try to combine them, learn as much as I can about the two, and see where it fits. And maybe something like gravy mix. You didn't hear it from me, but maybe you can go to where the gravy mixes are in Walmart and build yourself a business that makes you $400, $500 a week in, week out. And you can get to a point where you just go on Walmart.com, put all the stuff in the cart, and they'll bring it out and put it in your freaking car for you if you're too damn lazy to go in the store and get it. But not many people will take, and even though I said that, I bet you 2 people don't take that advice from this video. Over the years that it runs, 2 people won't take the advice of looking at grocery and small and light.
Well, this show is about concepts and ideas, and we answer a lot of questions. There hadn't been a lot of questions today. If someone has any questions, feel free to ask. No matter what topic we're on, I'll get to your questions. But it's up to you to put these things together. If we're talking about small and light, and I mentioned grocery and wholesale, if your mind doesn't put those two together, I'm not going to spell it out for you. It's just think about food. Just think about grocery. How much of it weighs anything? There's a lot of heavy grocery. A 5-pound bag of sugar, but go look at all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I've told you in the past that one of my favorite gas station is a Buc-ee's, and you can make money on the Buc-ee nuggets. They fit in small and light. There are people out there right now who are selling Buc-ee nuggets who don't know small and light and are costing themselves money because they can't take the number and put it and enroll the product. Amazon's not going to give the money away.
Secret to small and light is finding those listings where nobody knows it should be small and light and capitalizing on that. I can guarantee you that 99% of your DVD sellers out there are not in small and light. They have no clue about it. And then there's an extra fee on DVDs too, so you got to be aware of that. But things like that where people just don't understand that there's a small and light program out there. And you can make
or you have people that are selling a product, in the current program at $10.50. Why are you not in small and light for $9.99? It's like you're losing money.
Correct. There's an opportunity cost from $10 to $10.93.
And that's how you tell if people know there's a small and light program or not, because they're priced just over that. You know, when they should be priced under that.
Timothy,
there's a thing.
And it looks better. And it looks better to the customer. That
Do you think white label items will sell better in 2023? You need to expand on that. Are you talking about true white label, where white label? See, this is where the new age kids are taking the language of years of business and changing it around, like drop shipping, for example, to mean something totally different than what it was originally meant to be. So white label, do you mean where you actually put your brand on the product? It's a white label. White label means that they manufacture the product and then you put your brand to that product. For example, a big one I see is soap, bar soap. It's a white label product and you put your label on the product.
So it's an existing product that you just put your name on it. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. So like if Mega Blocks was just Lego sold out the back door and they put their brand on it, that's like a white label.
We have a guy in town, and I don't know if it's white label or not, sells soap. And he sells a lot of soap, and it's all Etsy and eBay, and I think I don't know if he does any Amazon. Soap that he's got a billboard across the street over here with his company name on it. I mean, this guy's selling soap out the wazoo, and that's all he sells, soap.
Do I think, is that like private label? Private label is a little different in that you have the product manufactured for you, Mr. Sadie. White label is a company that produces a product with the intention of you labeling it. There's a fine line between the two. Private label is more of you develop the product, you find the manufacturer, the packaging, all that. A white label product is usually packaged and it's just a matter of putting a sticker on it of some sort. Or maybe having a custom box printed because they print boxes in the back.
So I guess a good example of white label would be Del Monte green beans. They make the same can of green beans and Walmart puts their label on it. They're not, Walmart didn't do any of the research or anything. You know, that company makes it for Walmart. I mean,
most of your generics are that way.
It's a generic for the most part.
So I think people get private label and white label mixed up all the time because it is very similar. But true private label is a manufactured thing where you're the only one who's selling it.
And you can usually get a trademark and a patent, and now you're going down a whole different world. These are all things that you can do these are all things I did from stuff I found in stores, dude. Guys, I found all my products, all my private label products, or all my white label products, or all the stuff I sell, I found in stores. There's nothing. If you look at my store, and I'm not going to tell you my store name, but if you go find me, and it's not that hard to find me, I don't try and hide what I sell. I mean, everybody knows that I started as a flag company. If you look through my store, you go, that's what he makes money on? Really?
It's not that impressive on the surface. It's
really not. What I do is not impressive. Nothing I do is impressive.
On the surface.
Even when you drill down into it, people go, that can't work. It's not complicated enough. Everything I do is very simple. Scott has seen more of my operations behind the scenes than anybody. And there's nothing that I can't get somebody to do for me in a foreign country for $5 or $6 an hour. There's nothing complicated about anything I do.
You're very persistent. That's one thing.
Well, you have to have a certain attitude. You have to have a John-like attitude to do what John does.
It goes back to a mindset.
Or mindset, I guess, is the right term.
If your
I do not have that mindset.
Steve, if your mindset was you were going to lose 30 pounds, would you lose 30 pounds?
I mean, if I was determined, I quit smoking, so I can do it. Yeah.
We've all done something. We've all changed some habit that we had a mindset to do. I don't like to harp because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse sometimes, but it really is what we did. It's what Scott did. Scott did the same thing I did. Maybe not at the level I did it, but he has a wealth of knowledge that took him years to build. Jay, I don't know. And Steve is relatively new and still trying to find his lane.
Yeah.
You have to find that where you can make money and just repeat it over. I do nothing different from when I sold my first flag on eBay to now. There's nothing different in my process. I find a product, I list the product, I sell the product, I order more of the product, and I sell more of it. That's all I do. It's very basic, very repetitive.
That didn't help at all.
And when I
more lights on it and my face got whiter.
You add a new product and you go, okay, I need to sell this right away. When I add a new product, I don't expect to see a profit for 18 months.
That's what I'm learning with the Etsy stuff I'm doing now is, I got some really cool things that I've made. I haven't sold that many of them. But the problem is I'm not in Google searches yet. I'm not on Etsy search yet for that stuff. I am, but buried because, you have to build interest in those kind of products. And it took me a while. The good selling product that I had over there, I just sold out this week. It was a light that I made. It took a good 6 months at least for that to start selling at a consistent rate, and that's a product that I can manufacture over. I'm going to buy some more stuff to make more of those. Those are easy to make. And any platform is going to take time to develop.
And
just the patience it requires.
I didn't have patience. I didn't have patience in the beginning. I really didn't.
Yeah. And I don't think I've had patience until I'm starting to get it now. But that also got me in trouble, financially, because we're expecting to buy stuff that sells now, and not all of it does. And then you make bad buys because you're expecting to, like, I forget, Gigi's Playhouse. I had an offer to buy 40 of those at $2 a piece, and they were selling the day he made me that offer. They were selling for $26, 126 rank on Amazon and toys. Great rank, great price. But if I wasn't last year, I would have bought them without ever thinking about it because I look at the price, I look at the rank. Yeah, that'll work. $2 into 26. Yeah, all day long. Guess where they're at now? $10. Why? Because the day I looked at them, it was Cyber Monday. So you got to use more. I got to be more patient, use more analytical thinking, and it'll keep me out of trouble more often.
But the other thing too is, if you do make some of those bad decisions, like I have some stuff that did not sell last year because tankers came in, the price was too low. It wasn't going to work. I've now sold all those items this year.
Yes.
So 12 months later,
it can be a thing.
The cycle you have another chance.
It's the Ricky Bobby reselling. You got to be first or last.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't always apply. We bought those Mr. Potato Heads, and those things were never going to go back up in price because they never stopped making them, even though we thought they were going to. And that sort of thing will get you in trouble. Although I did sell them all. I sold some of them at a loss eventually, but I sold them all. And then other things like that. So you got to really, really know what you're doing sometimes when it comes to holding, if you plan on doing that. Even if you don't plan on doing it. Like I didn't plan on doing it with the potato heads, but I did hold some. And some things the price is never going to go back up on. So you got to be careful too with that stuff. But like Dave had bought a bunch of video games from me at the auctions that I was doing a couple of years ago or a year ago. And most all of them have gone up in value. And that's just video games. That's just used video games. So things can go up in value over time. He prompted me to go look through everything I have, and I found a few that will be selling. And I actually found one in my collection that was a brand new game, PS4 Call of Duty game that I couldn't give away for $10 last year. Well, this year I just sold it the other day for $50 on eBay, new. And it would have been for a little more on Amazon, but I wanted to sell it and get the money quicker. So I sold it on eBay. It was crazy how much that game has gone up when I couldn't even give it away last year.
So there's a guy in the chat, Steve, who's saying he has 2 jobs and makes a good income, but he's been stocking up stuff for inventory, and he's got quite a bit of stuff over the last 10 years. You got to figure out maybe it's you need to build a second business. You need to build a business. You need to find someone that can do it for you. You
need a teenager.
You need to figure out processes and stuff that you can get pay somebody else for their time. Is you're going to need, if time is the issue, don't let an excuse work around that. Find someone who would trade money for time, and it's a job. Create somebody a job, and come up with some processes. Your part will be the management part. This is what I expect from you. This is what I need. This is how you're going to do it. So you come up with the procedures, and you hire somebody to do it and hold them accountable. Steve looks like he's tanning.
Yeah, my lighting. I'm on the FaceTime camera today, and that FaceTime camera sucks.
Somebody said something. Was it? Let's see if I can find it. Something about it. Steve, Mr. Potato Head is not popular anymore.
Well, duh. Well, it's popular. I could sell 100,000 of them if I wanted to. I'm just not going to profit on them.
There's still there, but there's still potato heads out there you can find and make money.
Sure, there's a couple.
Potato Head, Mr. Potato Head may be a bad example, but there's a lot of products like that where last year everybody was on the product and tagged it, and then this year it's good. What are you looking? What are you guys laughing at?
Yeah, don't read it.
Yes, Steve.
Not out loud.
That's it. There's a solution for every problem, and you have to sit down and figure out what is the solution and come up with a solution. You don't have time, so you need but there's plenty of people that have time around you, or that that have time. Figure out how that you can create an atmosphere where their time can be of value to you, and you can reward them with a paycheck. That's the way.
And you have to look at. It's hard for people with money to get into this game because they think if they throw money at it, it's the solution. But you still have to understand the basics of what's going on, and you have to see it differently. You can't look at what I'm doing and the amount of money I'm making and go, I should be doing the same thing, because we look at it different. For me, it's a job. For you, it's an investment. You need to look at the return on your investment versus you actually doing the work. Most of the people here do the work themselves. Jay, I don't know how much. I don't know who has help. I know Scott has his son working now. Well, I got 6 employees full time.
Right. For me, I still have my normal job, but my wife is now able to stay home. She has quit her job to help me during the day. And then I have 4 teenagers who, no matter how much I offer them, don't want to work for me.
Yeah, well,
that is a struggle. But
I got 2 kids that went to work. I feel you on that. I got 2 kids that kind of turn their nose up at me. And they're like, well, when you're dead, we'll get the business. No, you're not. You ain't getting nothing. You're not even getting $1. You chose your path. You're going to live it. If you come around, that's a different story.
I mean, I have 2 kids that will work for me occasionally, but
Hey, you spelled my last name wrong, Felix. There's an H in there. It's CH. File a lawsuit against that jewelry company. Copyright infringement on my last name. It's you have to figure out what works for you. No 2 people does it work the same.
So Steve follows up by saying he worries about the shipping process more than anything. See, and Steve, that is the kind of weird thing. We sit here and talk about, today's show has been more overarching on philosophy and, planning and methods. But if you don't know the basics, you're done. You can find as many products as you want, but if you're going to do FBA, that's fine. You're good. But if you're going to do eBay and you're going to do some of these things and don't understand shipping, or you're going to do FBM and don't understand shipping, you can lose it all in shipping. Shipping is difficult.
Shipping is the single thing that kills most people.
Listen, if I was going to give Steve advice, here's the advice I would give him. Sell the same product over and over and over again, so that shipping is not an issue. For example, I sold jeans. I sold them at a fixed price. They were $9.99 plus $6.95 shipping and handling. We're going back years. So a padded flat rate envelope was $5.95 at the time. So I made $1 on the shipping because eBay charges fees and blah, 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 and all that nonsense. Every pair of jeans got shipped flat rate. That's it. If you bought 2 pairs of jeans, you got 2 flat rate envelopes. I knew exactly how much I was going to make on each package that sold, because I paid 50 cents for the jeans. eBay had their fees, and it just went right down the line. When you have somebody else doing the work, unless you have somebody who is above average, or a family member like Jay has his wife, that can take the time to actually learn how to do the process, you need to kiss that process the best you can, meaning keep it simple, stupid. So if it fits in a flat rate envelope, you sell it. If it's just a little bit bigger than a flat rate envelope, guess what? You don't freaking sell it. It's a little different when you're doing it as an investment versus as an income source, where you're physically doing the work. And that would be my advice I give to somebody like Steve. If you want to do this, if it fits in a flat rate envelope, you can buy it. Then you have a listing team, a selling team, and you can do free shipping, knowing that every product goes in a flat rate envelope that goes out. There's no shipping discount. Do you have a shipping discount? No. If I buy 100, do you discount it? No. You can make up templates for everything that the company has to do. People say, well, if I buy 100 from you, will you give me a discount? No, I sell it for a fair price already on eBay. Sorry, I don't offer discounts. That's what Alejandro sends to the customer when they ask for a discount. If they don't buy it from me and they go somewhere else, see ya.
I'm going back.
If then.
I'm going back on that advice and actually doing some of that now. I mean, you've talked about selling jeans for years and how you did it. And I'm doing it on a lot smaller scale with like pins and things like that. But it works. I sell every one of those for the same exact price, no matter what it is. And they're selling. And they're selling consistently. And it's weird because some of them are worth more, some of them are worth less, but yet, and then people will, now I do give a shipping discount, but that's me. And it's only if it's built into my business policy. So if they buy 4, they still get the same, ship rate. But you can do that on any level is what I'm trying to say. Is you can do it with jeans, you could do it with pins, you can do it with whatever, toothbrushes if you had them that are worth money, So, and you don't have to make $1 billion on every item. I'm learning that nowadays with the some of these video games. I'm selling them for $3.99 with $4 shipping. I mean, they're selling, and if you can scale that pretty easy. Cheap video games you can scale pretty easy. They sell quick.
So Heather, uncomplicated, no issues printer. I still like the Dynamo 4XL. There'll be people that tell you that it's a little too flimsy or whatever, because it's for what you pay for. It should be more stout. That's the one that I continue to use over and over. There are other printers out there, but I've used generic labels in a Dynamo 4XL and bought an extra spool. So I print 4x6 labels. If I want to go back to Amazon labels, I just switch the spool out and it goes right back to it. That's the one I've always liked. I've had the one I'm currently using now since 2015, no issues. But there are, the newer Chinese printers are a lot of people that like those.
I'm still stuck with my Zebra. I love my Zebra.
Too.
The thing is, so I can run any label through it, and it's fine.
But the Zebra, the problem is if you connect the Zebra to a Mac.
I'm running it fine. You got to know which driver to use, but once you figure that out, it's easy.
Yeah, but she wants to know.
Easy Dymo.
Uncomplicated.
Easy Rollo. Yeah. Dymo Rollo.
The Rollo or the Dymo. You've got to choose which one of the two. Those are the only two I tell you: the Rollo or the Dymo.
Now the Zebra, I don't know if I could print my small. Do you print your 30334s or something? Anything with the Zebra? Can you do that? I don't even know.
You can, but it's hard as hell to set up on a Mac.
Yeah, so I just keep a Dymo 450.
Yeah, see, I'm PC and all my FBA labels are done on a Zebra.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you could.
I don't know what printer we use.
The strength of the Dymo is over any of the rest of them is the software that comes with it. So if you want to make any generic labels, so the one thing I always used the Dymo for on the road was if I had a suffocation warning or if I had, this is a set. I never bought any of those stickers for FBA because I just printed them on demand. I had them saved in the Dymo software. And if I've got 4 things that need a suffocation warning, I print out 4. Because if something happened, I run out of bags or I needed bigger bags and needed to use a generic bag on the road, I could print out a label, or even at home, I could print out labels and be done with it. That's the difference between the Dymo and the rest of them is their software.
We're talking about the Dymo 4XL here. I wouldn't buy the new one because
that's what I was about to say. Don't buy the 5 because it has a chip in it that makes where you can't use generic labels. So you definitely want the 4.
Here's the other thing.
And what happened is the 4XL went way up in price because of that. So you try to find a cheaper one, but.
So printers are
Park your brooms.
The Halloween Expo.
Sounds fun.
Is that that's in Vegas.
I'm showing you what industries do. January 10th to 12th is the Halloween Expo in Vegas.
I just sold a Halloween item this week, or I think last week.
This is how far out stores are planning what they're going to do for next Halloween. This goes back to how far out are you planning? I get real quiet when you start talking about Dymos and printers and stuff like that. I don't say anything. And people always wonder why I'm not saying stuff. I don't know nothing about it. I don't understand. I don't know nothing about printers. I couldn't tell you what printer we use. I couldn't tell you where we get our labels. That stuff is all done by other people. This is the stuff I do. This is where I'm at. I'm going to this show, and it's a small show. I have dinner on the 10th in Vegas, so I'm going to stay an extra day, and I'll run through this show, and I'll probably pick up 2 or 3 ideas. They moved from New Orleans to Vegas. No, I think it's the same show, Harlan. I think they're going to be in Vegas, in New Orleans in February.
That sounds like a fun show. I really think I'd love to go to that one.
It's neat. It's neat.
So Larry, even Dusty in the last year or 2 switched to a label printer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So he's using the small Dymo labels. I'm telling you, if I had a choice between anything and a thermal printer, any other kind of printer, even a laser, I'd go with the thermal printer for labels every single time. It's so much better.
If you ask me what was the one thing that changed the trajectory of my success in gross sales volume, it's this. It's getting off my ass and booking everything that was needed for the show, to go to a show. Now my wife did it. I hand this stuff off to my wife now. My wife is my travel agent. She'll set this all up. She's already booked the hotel rooms. She's already got us, where am I eating and all that stuff. I will have to do the registration today. But if I find one product in here that makes me $100 a week, it's $5,200 a year. Over 4 years, it's $20,000 for one day of work. It's feasible to do that. This is where I find stupid little things that make me a lot of money.
Taylor asks, where do I find my zebra label? Zebra isn't proprietary. You can use generic labels. So I won't tell you where I get my labels.
Sure,
bought them.
all you gotta do is
Hey, where I get mine, if you've got a business account at UPS, they'll send you as many as you want for free.
Technically, you're going to get some hate for that, but
I don't care. Hate away.
yes, you can get them from you. If you need a business account with UPS, you can get free labels. FedEx does a similar thing.
Do they know?
You can buy any labels that'll work. I buy the fan folds. I get the fan folds.
Do you know how much I ship through UPS? You can hate all you want to. They're hating it.
So UPS understands that you're not going to switch your labels out for every package if you're sending in several, and so does FedEx, and even the Postal Service would know that. You used to be able to get them for the Postal.
UPS cares so little they quit putting on the fan folds. Don't even put their name on them anymore. They put it on the round ones. They don't put it on the fan fold. It doesn't say UPS on it anymore.
Not anymore. Nope. And even if it did, you could get away with using them. Now, normally I'm not for misappropriating packaging from different companies, but in that case, UPS is well aware that you're going to use those labels for whatever, because you're not going to sit there and switch them out every time.
I buy all my own labels.
Now, for the 4XL, you have to, because they're proprietary. And now there's generic versions, and they're cheaper, but they have that little square in them that's cut out, and you have to use that kind of label. For the zebras and the Rolos, you can use any label.
I don't know what we use. I was surprised because, remember, Scott, I said I'd never switch to 3-inch tape because of how hard it'd be to switch. We use 3-inch tape in the warehouse.
Because it's so much easier to deal with.
What he did was he ordered in all the supplies for 3-inch and put it on the back of the shelf and used up all the 2-inch stuff. And when he got to the 3-inch, he just started working it. But it took months. I mean, I buy tape on a pallet, so. And these are things that you have to consider as you start to grow. You have to look at, how do you trim the fat out of your business? Whether it's time or money. How do you trim some of your time? Well, you go to labels, sticky labels, instead of cutting them out and taping them damn things on. You go to a tape machine. These are things that you can pay to save yourself time to be able to do more in a day. FBA or FBM. Yeah, I do both. I do a little bit of everything. But these are things you have to learn. These are things you have to, even at my level, I still have to go in and trim out $100 savings. Because if I don't, over time, that eats into my profits. Is it quicker to do the sticky labels on the 4XL? Or, is it worth your time? If you sold one more item, did it pay for the sticky labels?
Same with paper tape. No, I wouldn't suggest it for a normal everyday eBay seller, but for somebody who's doing FBA or especially FBM, that paper tape machine saves you so much time.
We talked about Dusty. Dusty's probably one of the smartest people I knew when it came to eBay. And he was one of the dumbest at the same time. Because he did not want to streamline anything he did, any of his processes, to grow his business a little bit. Now, somebody was saying he used the stickers towards the end for labels.
He
I
did.
find that hard to believe. He sat there and cut freaking
He did.
labels days.
No, he did. I watched him put them on. He did.
Wow.
And then he streamlined that postcard, listing his postcards. He streamlined that.
That was the thing that made him selling so many postcards and stuff was the thing that finally made him switch.
You have to when you level up. You have to. You have no choice. I mean, I don't know how many postcards he was sending out a day, but it was quite a few.
CJ,
How much time are you wasting taping labels on every single one of those?
CJ says, let's talk about going over 12 ounces first class. It's like $1 difference. It 100%. It's like 80 cents from 8 ounces to go. It's like 60 cents to go from 4 to 8. From 8 to 12 is about 80. From anything over 12 it's over $1. And so, I mean, shipping can be so vital that if you use the correct boxes, the boxes become free. Because if you're using the 24 count boxes versus the 32 on items that don't need super protecting, and it shaves an ounce, because these boxes are 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces lighter. If it means that you save $1, it means you can ship it for 12 ounces versus 14 ounces, and you save $1 something, and the box costs you 30 cents. By buying the box, you made 70 cents. People don't look at it enough detail to understand, what size box fits in a priority bubble mailer that you can do bag in a box.
But see, you have to. These are things that you have to
What's in the
learn.
bag?
You have to learn. You can sit up here and beat your chest all day long about that stuff, Scott, and nobody listens. They really don't. Because it means they have to buy 50 boxes or whatever it is at a time.
They can buy them as little as 10 or 25.
Okay, but I mean, you understand what I'm saying,
It's tough to do because you're mentally you think, okay, if I have to pay for these boxes, it's going to cost me more money as opposed to using free. Now I used a mix of both, but I enjoy just walking right over there and picking a box that's nice and new and flat, and it's so much easier to use, So if I could, I'd buy all new boxes. If I didn't sell such a variety of crap.
Listen, a lot of people know I sell bundles. I take 2 of this, 1 of those, put it together, shrink wrap it, and I send it in Amazon. And it got to a point where I had to hire another employee, which would cost me $400 a week or whatever it was, full time. And I went out instead. I don't know if Scott was with me on that trip or not. I seen a shrink wrap machine, semi-automatic shrink wrap machine.
Oh yeah, I was there.
I bought it. Thing ran me like $8,500. Once we had it installed and we had it adjusted, not only didn't we need a new employee, we actually took 1 employee and cut them down to part-time with 1 machine. You have to look at what your cost is long-term. Until you get out of today and start looking at next week, next month, the next quarter, next 6 months, next year, you're not going to see these big savings.
See, ASD is one of those things where people are so concerned about finding products that they don't look at their overall business and get to the very back of that second floor and where all the equipment is. They had the coolest shrink wrappers. You put an item on a belt on one side, it shrink wraps it. It shrinks it down through the heat tunnel and kicks it out the other side. And I forget the amount of products it would do at one time. I mean, when you would just send them through, it was amazing efficiency.
Impressive, very impressive. It was fun to watch.
We now have a labeler at the other end of the tunnel, of the heat tunnel,
right?
That it comes out and it puts a label on.
Nice.
efficiency is, and the American worker brought it on themselves. I'm sorry. If I could get people to work as steady as those machines work for me, without the grief, I don't have any grief from that machine except when the electric bill comes in. It's just a matter of you have to want more. You have to start thinking more about next week than today. And until you start expanding that, which I talked about in the beginning of the show, where I'm looking at, I'm in late 2023, 2024 of what we're going to grow into. And I got no choice because now we're breaking ground on a building that's 20,000 square feet and there's expense to it. So I have to do that stuff. So you got to start thinking bigger if you want to grow bigger. If you want to stay where you are, my advice means crap.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If design, but because you have to be happy in your own skin, design your business, because you can't copy somebody. You can only take what you hear and use it to your strengths. Everybody doesn't think the same. Not everybody wants the same thing. And so, but the thing you have to do is figure out what the hell you want. Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you need? And then you move from there.
How many times have I said if I wish I could go back in time, I'd be half the size I am?
Quite a few.
It'd probably be quarter the size that I am. Sometimes you get trapped where you are too.
Sometimes you feel trapped where you are. That's where I'm at right now. No, we know we can get out of this, and we will. But it's a long uphill climb, and it's scary. But we'll get there.
And
we did it to ourselves,
Steve, you're at a point where you have to sacrifice.
Yep. Oh, and we have had to a lot.
You may have to eat some rice and beans, like Dave Ramsey said. You're going to have to put in the hours now to get the listings up. Your wife has a great.
I have been.
Your wife has a great product. If she needs help, you need to help her look with the listings.
She does a pretty good job. She's very efficient with it. She knows. Yeah.
But that's what it takes.
She'd sold 9 yesterday to one person. Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Been there, done that. Sold the T-shirt on eBay.
Speaking of T-shirts, has everybody
I was trying to figure out what it was.
Has anybody watched this movie yet for Christmas?
Nah.
That there's an RV, Clark. If you haven't watched Christmas Vacation, what the hell? What are you even doing with your life?
Best movie.
You see all these people that on the interviews ask them what's their favorite Christmas movie, and so many people say Elf. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you?
I really enjoy A Christmas Story movie. That's probably, I would say, my favorite right now. But it moves around. Elf is good, but it's not my favorite.
Have you seen the new one, Steve?
The new what?
Not yet. Did they do a second one to the Christmas movie?
I'm waiting for it to come out free somewhere that I don't have to pay to watch it.
I'll send you the link. I can hook you up.
All right, you got you know where I'm at on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I got your email too. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, we live close enough to Cleveland that we can go look at the Christmas Story house, and it's actually a pretty neat place to go. It's not, most of the interior scenes weren't actually filmed in that particular house, but they've made the house look like that on the inside nowadays. Now it's for sale too. Maybe we should buy it. There's our new business, buy the Christmas Story house. But that's a good movie. I really enjoy it. So much so that I built a life-size leg lamp that we use as a Christmas decoration every year. Now, what I should have done is filmed the building of that leg lamp and put it on YouTube, and I did not. So if I ever build another one, I'll have to do it. It is not an easy process, and it was not a cheap process either. But Just the leg was like $50, I think.
Well, if you
Try
ever see
finding
those,
mannequin legs. Go ahead.
and if you ever see the little leg lamps, there's the leg lamp night lights. Those sell really fast.
They all,
My wife has
the
a
big
miniature
one-
version that we leave up.
The big ones,
Well,
little, they all sell.
on the
the
glow
little
forge, I
ones,
was making
the little ones are like 3 ounces. I mean, who cares, you know?
on the Glowforge, I was making replica crates, and those sold fairly decently. I didn't start soon enough. I didn't come up with the idea soon enough. Nobody else on Etsy was selling it. No, you can't find that, particularly the way I was making it anyway. An actual wood crate. They're all plastic, because it's cheap. So yeah, that one did pretty well, and I think it'll be a great seller next year. But I'm gonna leave it up all year. There's people who buy that stuff all year. We'll see how it goes, but I'm gonna raise the price on them too.
Yeah.
Because I was making them way too cheap.
All right, we're close enough. 10 o'clock. I have to start watching football. Recruit. Alabama just flipped the #1 offensive tackle. He's a small man, 6'8", 340 pounds. In high school, they were never that big when I was in high school. 6'8", 340.
Steroids.
That's bigger than me. I'm 6'2", here. I gained 10 pounds. I'm not happy about it. But, Christmas, Thanksgiving. That one more.
I've never seen Bad Santa. Maybe I'll watch that this evening.
That's actually, I enjoy that movie. It's a good movie.
Bad Santa's funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny.
It's not a Christmas movie,
All right. Well, hope everyone has the Christmas they deserve.
Hello and good night.
Enjoy the time of the holidays. One of the few days a year you can shut it down because nothing goes on Christmas. Mr. Sadie says, "I like it." All right, cool. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully, you the next week or so, you start thinking about next year, where you want to go, and put it to paper. Lots of ideas bounced around. Don't forget the basics. You're not getting anywhere next year, and if you can't perform shipping correctly, if you can't think logically through some of these things, set your goals very realistic. If you need to learn shipping, there's nothing wrong with that. Just learn it better so you can mark that off your list and move forward. Hello and good night.
Sweetwater out.
Today's gonna be a good day for the Tide. Roll Tide. And Jay has nothing.
Merry Christmas.
That's
I got nothing.
That's
Not as